I've been thinking about what am I gonna remember this year for? And obviously, all the Twitch stuff, and the Rusts and the GTA's, that's all gonna play a part. But that's not what I'm gonna remember this year for. Completely losing my mind in a way that I didn't think would ever happen. You know, I suppose you don't think anything's gonna happen to you until it happens. But I didn't think that I could so suddenly and quickly find myself in a position where I was fearing for my life on a daily basis. And that's sort of what I'm going to remember this year for. Um, and when I think, when I think of Twitch, when it comes to my anxiety and stuff like that, it's very odd. It's almost a bit of a paradox, really. Um, I was never, I avoided voice chat in games whenever possible. And even playing with friends, I wasn't sat there having a conversation or instigating interesting points of discussion or opening up a running dialogue or anything like that. It was very reactionary. Bad guy there, he's dead, and then silence until someone spoke to me. It's very quiet. So the idea that in the midst of everything that's happened this year, that I at some point decided, yeah, well, I'll do Twitch. I can do that, right? I can try that. It's weird. I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me how I got here, especially this year. I've talked a lot about my anxiety and stuff, how I somehow developed a panic disorder at the start of this year, on stream a bit here and there. Had a period of counselling sessions, which were really helpful in a way. Not so much when they ended, and there was nothing I could do about that because I got them through a work scheme, but it was a finite amount of sessions, and then you just sort of cast out into the wind. There are other avenues I might be able to. I'm going to be going down in the new year, but it's a very weird experience. But one of the things we needed to get to the bottom of through those sessions though was how did this really start? Where did this begin? Was it a COVID thing? Was it a lockdown thing? I don't think I was particularly convinced by that. I think we agreed. Yeah, it is like from a point of view of I work in a school. From a point of view of a school, it makes sense that they'd have that policy there for anyone who needs it. Like an emergency. There you go. You've got this available to you. That's great. I appreciate it. I appreciate that I had that opportunity, and I got that help so quickly. When there are people out there waiting months, and I'm probably may well be joining them soon. Especially now. I imagine that list is ever growing. The waiting list is ever growing. But getting to the bottom of where this all started, I think we agreed that it was almost certainly the end of 2019. When I developed, let me make sure I get my facts straight here. I developed labyrinthitis at the end of 2019, which is an inflammation of the inner ear. I think part of the ear is called the labyrinth. I think. I didn't know it. I didn't know anything about it. I'd never heard the name before. I didn't know what the symptoms were, and there were no warning signs. I drove home from work one night. I got home about just after 5, maybe. I distinctly remember I made a cup of tea. I sat down to watch TV. There was a repeat of we're talking end of November? We're talking November, I think, early November. There was a repeat of a Doctor Who Christmas special on, And for a good hour when I get home from work most days, I wanna zone out for an hour. Whatever works. When you're working with children all day, man, you need to zone out. You need to you need to let it all go. So I just sat down, nice cup of tea, watching TV. Finished my brew, wanted to get rid of a cup. We're talking about half an hour in here. I stand up, and the whole fucking world revolved around me. This sudden dizziness, and I just slumped against the wall and hit the floor. And my first thought was, that was weird. That was very weird. But I guess I just stood up too quickly, right? That happens. I've stood up and felt dizzy before, so I try and stand up again. Dizziness is still there. It's it's not coming and going. It's, oh my god, I can't focus on anything properly. So I come in this room. I sit on a chair behind me, what is now behind my green screen. And I'm sat there, and it's not getting better. And if anything, it's getting worse. I'm sort of holding my head down, just trying to recompose myself. But I can even with my head still, I can sort of feel it. I felt off balance. I felt like I was on a waltz ride, which was not a good feeling whatsoever. So at that stage, for something that sudden, to be 1 second think, everything's fine, lovely cup of tea, TV's on, happy days. Next second, bang, I'm hitting the floor. Can't stand up properly. Can't keep my head up. I couldn't lift my head up. At this point, hello, Geddon. Geddon, it has been a long time, mate. You've come at a cheery time, mate. I'm just reliving old battles here. Good to see. I hope you're doing well. It has been a while. So I'm sat there, unable to lift my head up, feeling dizzy, feeling nauseous, and obviously panicking because something sudden has gone wrong in my head, and I don't know what. Obviously, one of the first things that I went to was, am I having a stroke here? I don't know what's happening. My head's gone wrong. Thankfully, very thankfully, I wasn't alone. So I had someone with me very quickly. And as it got worse, and it did get worse. Well, because I thought something wrong with my brain. At some point in this descent of panic, I decided one thing I needed to do was to make sure my brain was still functioning. And I don't know how I came to this decision, but I decided to do that by reciting the alphabet. So I'm sat there, unable to lift my head up, in a state, now just babbling the alphabet out. I'm not really, almost not accepting that, my mind was fine. My mind was actually fine. There was nothing wrong there at all, but that's not the state of mind I was actually in, and I didn't realize at the time that what I was doing by constantly talking was making myself considerably worse. Because what I was doing then was I was already panicking, but then I was hyperventilating. I was just going and going and going and not focusing on my breathing at all. So now I'm even more convinced that something's wrong with my head, because I'm getting pins and needles right across my scalp, right down my face, and then in my fingers, in my toes. And again, having not hyperventilated before, I'm not making the connection that is what is happening. I'm just thinking, oh my god, I'm losing feeling in my face, I'm losing the feeling in my hands, my feet. And then I got to a really bad point where I could no longer move my fingers. I couldn't move my fingers, I couldn't move my toes. I had my hands in front of me and I could not move them. The brain signals to move my fingers, to move my toes were not getting there, because I just poured carbon dioxide out of my body. So at that point, again, I'm completely down the road of I'm having a stroke. I can't move. I can't use my hands. An ambulance is on its way. I'm still in a mess. Ambulance finally arrives after. I feel I've got this background music going. I hope that's not distracting. Ambulance arrives. 2 paramedics come in, and straight away, they knew. They knew what was up straight away. In an almost not passive aggressive, because they were lovely, but in a very direct sort of there's nothing fucking wrong with you, mate. Snap out of it sort of way. You know, these are guys who've seen some shit, and they don't need my shit on top of their shit. Oh, what's happened here? What's going on here? OBS? Excuse me. Alright, cool, great, that was fun. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. I was paralysed by fear. Camera disaster notification. I had a good Christmas getting, well, good is a relative term, isn't it? I had a pleasant enough Christmas under the circumstances. I hope you've had a lovely few days yourself, whatever you've been doing. So the paramedics come in, you know, they're straight to the point. You're hyperventilating, I was convinced I couldn't stand up. I couldn't, you know, whatever was that, you know, whatever's happening in my ear was still happening. You know, I was still nauseous, everything was still spinning. But they didn't know that. You know, they weren't here to diagnose me with labyrinthitis. They were here thinking that I was hyperventilating myself into a mess. And they'd been called out for nothing. So they got me to stand up, they got me to walk over. And as soon as I sat down, I threw up. So I was alright, you know. I was saying I don't want to stand up. I can't walk over. They were saying you can. I did, and then I rewarded them by throwing up. And then we sat down for a while. And we talked it over. You know, they checked my pulse. They had the oximeter thing. And then my heart rate was fucking rapid. Like, I don't remember what it was, but it was a big number, and it was a big number for a long time. And it was big enough for long enough that they actually had no choice but to take me to the hospital. So that was in the terror, you know. There was some tiny voice at the back of my mind thinking, "Oh, I'm you know, here's my ride in the back of an ambulance," which, you know, I'd never been in the back of an ambulance before. They gave me 2 injections for, I want to say, nausea. I was fine in the ambulance. I was fine getting to the hospital. Then they wheeled me into urgent care, where I threw up again. I had an ECG. Now I've sort of calmed down at this point, but I still felt fucking terrible. I wasn't as panicky, but I was still worried about, you know, what's actually happening here. I've still got, when I got home that night, I still had the stickers from the ECG, the leads, the monitor leads on me. I've still got the stickers. I don't know why. I do. So I'm getting checked out. And they think, yeah, okay, your heart's fine. Blah blah blah. We're gonna wheel you over here, and they put me on an IV. So again, another voice back. Oh, IV. I've never been on a drip before. What's this gonna feel like? I think the first, you know, they just pumped fluids into me and paracetamol. I'm sitting there thinking, I can feel it. I could feel my arm getting cold as it moved around. I don't know. It was a weird feeling. It was an odd feeling. It was the night of firsts. So I was on the drip for a bit. And then they took a blood sample. So I got pricked a few times. And we have to wait for that. So I'm still led there for ages, thinking, what's going on here? It was a busy night as well. There were just people in the corridors, on beds, and I'm thinking, I'm in a little booth here, you know, I'm gonna feel fucking terrible if I'm looking directly down the corridor at some old bloke on a bed in the corridor while I'm here, getting seen to, or potentially of my own making. Everyone who was working there was top notch, though, and it stuck in my mind. We were close to the election at that point as well. I know it stuck in my mind that everyone who looked after me that night was European as well. That wasn't lost on me. So the blood test came back fine, and we just said, right, you can go. But but no one, no one could say what was actually wrong with me at this point. I was in hospital because of a hyperventilation, not because of what was actually happening in my ear. So I needed help walking out the hospital because I could still barely walk. I still felt sick. I didn't have any medication to take away with me or anything like that. It was just a case of, right, see your doctor tomorrow, or see your GP tomorrow, whenever you can. So I got home, still shitting it a bit, because again, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's happened. I didn't sleep much that night. And then eventually saw my doctor the next day. Was escorted into the doctor's office with me crawling along the wall, like actually just crawling on the wall. And that's when I said, all right, okay, sounds like labyrinthitis. What? Labyrinthitis? Well, that's a big word. That's a big word. What's that? Oh, what's going on here? What's happening? What? Why tonight? Why tonight is this happening? Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed from my camera here, but I guess I can keep doing this for now. Before we start golf, I guess I'll try and change that over. So anyway, I got more. There's nothing they could do with the labyrinthitis except to give me medication to manage the nausea. And I was out for weeks. Barely able to stand, barely able to walk. Not able to eat much at the beginning. A few weeks out of action, feeling terrible, feeling sorry for myself. Got back to it. Developed strange amount of vertigo for a bit. It felt like I was on a boat for a few weeks. At first it was the Waltzer ride, and then it felt like I was just on the deck of a ship for a few weeks. And then I couldn't look straight up without feeling terrible, and I was no good with heights for a while. But I got better. And obviously I was the latter end, the tail end of it, I was completely distracted by the onset of COVID. And if anything was going to do it, if anything was going to destroy my brain, I would have thought that first lockdown would have done it. But it was all right. The world was in pieces, and untold, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people were dying. But what did I have to complain about? We were working from home. We were doing what we could, and I'm proud of the work we did. Me and the guys I work with, to get our school functioning, with everyone working from home, and we did it. It was fine. We did it. It was an obstacle. We overcame it. And then there was the weird period of me working while Limmy was on stream, which became just a daily thing of, emails on, Limmy's on the TV, off we go. Let's see what this day brings. And that loop went on and on. I got heavy into Ring Fit for the Switch. I managed to get a cheap copy of Ring Fit at a time when it was quite hard to get Ring Fit. I got back into my running whenever I could, and but by the end of 2020, I was in the fittest state I've ever been. And I felt healthy. I managed to take that opportunity of having long periods at home to I ate healthier. I just behaved healthier. I felt better for it. And obviously, at some point along the way, the Rust stuff happened. I was at the beginning of the year, which kicked this whole thing off. Riot had opened the doors by making me a mod, which really, I had a really weird. I suppose I had before I started watching I think I got into Limmy when he was doing his City Skylines things for some reason. I was watching, I think it was a highlight video on YouTube or something like that, and I started watching his VODs. And before that, I'd had a weird sort of relationship with Twitch in a sense. It sort of passed me by in a weird way. For someone who was very online, Twitch I never really engaged with Twitch that regularly. Hello, Kawa. Speaking of Riot mods, esteemed moderator Kawa is here. Hello, Kawa. So yeah, I got into, and that's how I ended up following Riot through watching all those Limmy VODs. I think it was Limmy's Warzone VODs with Riot and Cater Cakes. And once I became a mod for Riot, that sort of opened. I'd already got one foot in the door of this whole new world, but then I was just sort of felt part of the ecosystem, I suppose. Like, okay, how does actually all this work? How does all this work on the back end? And before then, I'd watched some people's Twitch VODs, but I never, I'd watched. Probably the most live I'd watched Twitch was the Bob Ross, that first Bob Ross marathon. I don't know why. I don't know why. I just never got involved with Twitch. I guess time. I guess I suddenly had the time, more than enough time, to just sit down and say, oh, okay, and actively interact with a streamer who could interact back. Because when I was watching Limmy, obviously that you've got a 1 in 5,000 chance that Limmy's gonna pick up your message and say something about it. So being in Riot streams really changed my entire perspective on Twitch. And then the Rust stuff happened, and suddenly all these people, I'd never, as I say, I was not big on voice chatting games and stuff like that. So the idea of us all piling onto a Rust server and all, streamers and viewers all just collaborating and making treasured memories together was a weird thing. I connected to that Rust server, and the first people I walked past were Toasty and Pink Hex. It's like I recognize those voices. I've seen some of their streams as an extension of Limmy raids or Riot raids. I'd been into Pink Hex streams and Toasty streams. And I was there as Dando was beginning the foundations of Dandotopia. And yeah, obviously everything went from there. I'll talk about this more. I've got a 1-year anniversary Twitch stream coming up, folks. So in 2 weeks' time. So I'll talk about all this stuff more there. I don't want to linger on this. But that's just how the Rust, GTA, and now for a lot of people Wild RP. That's how I got involved in all that stuff. And at some point along the way, I decided, I've got all this time. I've got a camera. I've got a microphone. I can play video games sometimes poorly. What if I made a Twitch account? Oh well, I've had a Twitch account, but what if I got at the time Streamlabs or whatever, now OBS, and gave it a go? And it's thanks to Riot that we actually got anywhere. Some those Riot hosted me a few times as I was getting going, and in the chat, and just putting my mind at ease by having someone to chat to in those early days. And then those first raids really helped, and then GTA took it to a whole different level. But yeah, that I think what I'm trying to get at is that no, I put myself out here in a way I never thought I would at a time when it seemed completely implausible. I got through 2020 absolutely fine, thinking I'm actually, considering the state of the world, I'm probably in the best. You know, I was in the best physical shape I'd ever been in. I felt good about myself, and I'd clearly at some point worked up the confidence to be like, yeah, okay, let's get involved in this world. I can put myself on camera, right? How hard can it be? Turns out quite hard. Quite hard, it turns out. So big respect to everyone who does this on a daily basis. To much bigger audiences. But then again, the lockdown at the start of this year, which is when Rust happened for me, I don't know what changed, because while I was getting set up and starting streaming, I was also finding myself becoming more anxious. I had no trouble sleeping through the first lockdown and through 2020, but this 2021, yes, I was struggling to sleep. I was drifting off to sleep and just being shocked awake. My heart pounding. I didn't know what it was. I just thought it was one of these weird things that, you know, it'll pass. It'll pass. You know, this might be happening for a few days, for a few weeks, but then it'll pass. But it didn't, and it got worse. And I think when I knew something was going wrong was when it started happening when I was at work. Because at least there was a period when at least I could tell myself, okay, this weird thing's happening to me at night when I'm trying to go to sleep, and I don't know why. But at least when I get up in the morning and go to work, everything's fine. Nothing to worry about. Although I just became increasingly afraid of the night time. And then there were definitely, I will be reading your message, by the way, so I'm just, if I'm in a flow. Where was I? See, that's why I shouldn't distract myself. Okay, yeah. So it became obvious that, you know, I'd be sitting at my desk at work and thinking, okay, I'm starting to feel a bit like I feel at night now. You know, my heart's going a bit, my breathing's off. And, you know, I knew that it was potentially a panic attack, but I just couldn't fathom. No, I couldn't logically say why am I having a panic attack? Why can I be falling asleep at night without a care in the world, and suddenly I'm having a panic attack? That doesn't make any sense. It can't be that, right? It can't be that. Something else must be wrong. And again, same at work. It's like, why am I suddenly having a panic attack here? I'm doing something I've been doing for the last 12 years. How could I possibly be having a panic attack right now? So something else must be wrong, surely. And I didn't do anything about it. I didn't tell anyone about it. I think I possibly mentioned on one of those early streams I was having trouble sleeping. And I just persisted, and I shouldn't have done. And I got to a point. It was my last day. Like I'd had more severe panic attacks at night at this point. You know, feeling like my heart was gonna fucking explode. But again, I wasn't. Part of me was saying, yes, these are probably panic attacks. Other part of me was saying, oh, there's something wrong with me now. Again, and I couldn't help those feelings. That was the most frustrating thing. You know, I feel like I've always been a pretty logical person, and none of this has ever made any sense to me. I've never been able to put two and two together. And Kawa, this is part of the reason why I've decided to start this cheery stream. There will be golf. We're going to be playing some golf. If I don't put everyone who was going to play golf to sleep first. I've been listening to Dan Rykkert's Anxiety as an Ally audiobook, which I recommend to any anxious folks out there. And just hearing someone talk about so many familiar situations. Like I've listened, I've listened to people talk about panic attacks up until this point, and anxiety disorders. I've spoken to a counsellor, but hearing someone talk at length about very, very similar situations that I've been in, I found some extra relief there over the last few weeks. So I thought I may as well. I'll talk about it myself. Okay, maybe it'll help me. Maybe someone else out there will find something to relate to it. You saw because my work over there, but I saw that story. It wasn't. No, I can imagine. Oh, that's the thing. I've never seen someone myself have a panic attack. It's not something I'd ever put any thought into. I didn't know how to respond to it myself when it was happening to me, because all my thoughts were occupied with was, oh, something's wrong. And the tipping point wasn't at work. The first tipping point was just before the summer. I was driving home, and it was a really rainy drive, and I got all the way to the. I've definitely mentioned this on stream before, but I got to the bottom of my street in the car, lights on red, and hello Cape. welcome to a happy fun time chatting session here. Good to see you. It's been a long time. And I'm there at the red light, just about to turn up my street, and just this wave, top to bottom, came over me, and I felt sick. My heart was pounding. I felt like I couldn't breathe. I felt like I couldn't feel my toes. And again, my first thought wasn't I'm having a panic attack. My first thought was, what's wrong with me? Oh my god, I'm trapped in this car. There's no one well, obviously there's people in other cars, but I'm trapped in this metal box, in the dark, in the rain. It wasn't that dark. It was just dark clouds. But again, thinking, fuck. So I just boosted. I windows right down, AC on full, boosted the radio, and just clenched my hands on the steering wheel. Just don't let go. Don't let go. All you need to do is make this one turn, pull into the drive, just get in the house. Got in the house, laid down, and just rode it out. And that was definitely the first point that I thought that cannot happen again without me trying to get help on this. But before that could happen, I'm doing alright, Cape. I'm just rambling about how not alright I have been previously, but at the moment I'm doing alright, and I hope you're doing well as well. We've just been discussing our former endeavours and adventures. It is good to talk about it, and as I say, anyone out there, I recommend Dan Rykkert's Anxiety as an Ally book / audiobook. It was the last my last working day before the summer break. We'd had a day moving a lot of stuff. We were moving a lot of heavy old equipment to be scrapped. I was tired. I knew I was dehydrated. I knew I hadn't drunk enough for the work we were doing. It was one of the hottest days of the year. The aircon in one of our rooms had broken, and by broken I don't mean not working. I mean fucking water was pouring out of it and fucked everything. So we had to clear equipment out of that room as well. And we were moving this stuff that was way too heavy for us to be moving, really. And I just felt fucked. And it was coming towards the end of the day. And I was walking up a flight of stairs. And I got halfway up and just felt this pain in my chest. And again, it was a pretty, it wasn't a pain that stopped me in my tracks. It wasn't a lengthy one. It was very brief. But again, it was enough to just trigger a reaction of, oh my god. I'm tired, I'm dehydrated, my arms hurt because I've been moving. But it didn't matter that I've been moving all that stuff. I wasn't thinking logically. It was like, oh my god, everything hurts. I feel like shit. There's this pain in my chest now. I was like, fuck, what do I do? What do I do? I got back to the office. I just sat down for a while. But right, this isn't. There's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with me. I ended up sat on the floor on the office and just like, there's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with me. Just tried to breathe. Tried to breathe. And then, God bless them, someone came to the door. Someone came to the door to tell me that there were 2 police officers in reception who needed assistance. Like, it's not their fault that they snapped me out of my attempt to recover. My what I should have done at that point is, okay, I'll be there when I get there. I just need some time here. And I went straight there. And by the time I got to reception, I was done. I got introduced to these 2 police officers who were just there completely whatever, doing their business. I said, excuse me, I just gotta go. Went round the back and just collapsed into a chair, and I had the same pins and needles in my hands, in my head, and it's the ones in your head you don't expect. You expect pins and needles in your fingers, in your toes. You don't expect it in your face. You don't expect your whole head to be tingling, and the worst bit is the knot in the stomach as well. Like, it just feels like someone has grabbed your stomach and it's just squeezed it into the tiniest ball imaginable. And there was one person covering reception who came back and said, "Are you okay?" And I just went, "No." And that was it. I was on the floor, curled up in a fucking ball under this poor lady's desk. And that's where I stayed for an hour and a half. It was only that I had gone through that before that I was able to talk to someone and explain what was happening. Unlike last time when I was a babbling mess, at least this time I pulled myself back. It took an hour and a half of my stomach just feeling in a vice. And again, I had things I asked for things to be squeezed in my hands. I think I had some like cotton wraps, like I was just squeezing these in my hands to keep my fingers moving. I was breathing. I was explaining what was happening. So I'm thankful because I'd been through it before. I didn't get into the same. Now I was arguably in a like, I don't remember the stomach thing the first time round. Because this time it felt bad. I just felt paralysed on the floor. And in a sense, I physically was paralysed. But I was able to talk myself back to it. Until I could stand up. And I was carrying this bin around. I've still got the bin. I got this bin, one of these bins in reception. I've still got the bin in this house. It never went back. Just in case I threw up, which thankfully I didn't. Someone had to drive me. I had to be driven home. And someone had to follow us. Someone had to follow us to drive the driver back. God bless him. So I got home. And in the car ride home again, the stomach came back. The tight stomach came back. Oh, please don't! I don't want to throw up in this car. So I got home and went through the whole thing. So alright, fuck! I need to do something about this right now. This cannot happen again. And thankfully, since then, I haven't had such a bad experience. I've had panic attacks since then. But mild ones on a pretty semi-regular basis. The counselling definitely helped, but as I say, that with that only being a limited thing, it was quite rough when it ended. When I thought about anxiety and panic attacks and stuff like that, I never considered the physical toll of them. Our minds are very strange, and the way they affect our bodies is even stranger. Like, not a day has gone by for months now where I haven't felt some physical symptom of anxiety. It has become part of my life. honestly, if for everything I've just said about, everything I've said this year about Twitch and the community and getting involved and everything, for as good as all this has been, for all the fucking hours and hours of video editing I've done for GTA and stuff, I believe me when I genuinely say I would take all of that away. I would, if someone offered the chance to take all the Twitch stuff away, to not have been involved in the Rust and the GTA servers, and to not be a mod on a few channels, and to not be here talking on this stream now. If someone said, "Do you want to trade all this just so all this anxiety business was not a thing this year?" I'd say yes, please. Yeah, sure. Let's do that. I'd probably regret it at some point later, but if someone gave me that a choice right now, I'd probably say yes. Because as I say, it's been when things are quote unquote normal, like you get into a rhythm, when I've been in this job. I've been in different stages of this job, but at the same place for 12 years. Since I was 16, I've been doing this job. And now I notice it in a way that I didn't notice it before. Because when you're in a rhythm, you don't, the days pass quicker. You've got a routine, you get through it. You enjoy bits of it, you don't enjoy other bits of it. But when you feel like there's something holding you back every day, you notice every day. You notice the passage of time in a way that you didn't before. And there are now things about my job. I just think, fuck. I can't deal with this. I can't do this. I don't think I can do this anymore. But I know that I've done it for long enough that I can. But now, the physical effects of anxiety, which I never, nobody could have prepared me for it. It's been months and months of nausea and, the breathing stuff and the heart palpitations, and it's taken what were previously normal feelings and completely exaggerated them. It's made me oversensitized to every feeling in my body. Like my eyes. I've never been on stream with short hair, but trust me, I had short hair for most of my life, especially my entire adult life. I've had short hair, without fail. As soon as it started getting slightly thick and curly, it's like, no, that's it. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with that. Cut it all down. I want to be able to stick my head under a tap in the morning and be done with it. Let me have that sort of safety net. It was only through lockdown that I thought, right, I can't. I literally can't go and see a barber. So let's go with this. And by the time I could go and see a barber again, I A, wasn't comfortable doing so, and B, thought, let's see how far this goes. It was considerably longer than this at some point. I'll try and bring it up actually on go back to one of these. Again, I'm going to be going over all this early stream stuff again in a few weeks' time, but because it's so thick now, I occasionally feel, pressure up here, where it's had its... And it's like, it's a completely normal sensation of, I can feel the hair on my head. But it almost feels like a tension headache. And it's like, I know all I have to do is stick it under the shower. And then that feeling's gone. Everything's loosened up. And I can get rid of that feeling. But I can be sat there thinking, oh my god, my head hurts. Why does my head hurt? And yeah, again, I can't, even now, my first thought isn't, oh, it's my hair. I know it's my hair. But my first thought is, no, there's my head. Why is there a pain in my head? And then here comes the nausea, here comes the breathing. And it wipes you out for Thank you, Cal. It wipes you out for the rest of the day. Like, thanks to Riot, I got into F1, and that feeling at the start of a race. Everyone's done the formation lap, they're on the grid, the lights are going. There's just that natural anticipation of what's going to happen next, that natural tension, what's going to happen next, because the opening lap of an F1 race is the most exciting lap of an F1 race. And there is that really exciting feeling of what's going to happen when these lights go out. And what was an enjoyable feeling for me this year became sometimes unbearable. I've had to stand up and go to bed at the start of an F1 race because that feeling has then gone from, oh my god, why am I feeling anxious? Oh my god, am I having a panic attack? It's like, no, this is a feeling I felt at the start of every single F1 race I've watched, but now I'm thinking, oh no, am I having a panic attack? I don't know, and then I proceed to have a panic attack, and then that's it. Once you're in a panic attack, it is exhausting. That's one of the last things that the counsellor I was speaking to said to me was, it's exhausting. It's gonna take a toll on you. I've done nothing different this year, and I feel run down. My arms have been fucked. My shoulders been fucked. My back's been fucked. I've made all the adjustments I could possibly make here and at work, and I'm still just, my body's had enough. Because once you've had a panic attack, it's like it can take your body so long to recover. I've gone to bed at, I've had to force myself to go to bed at 2 in the afternoon, and that's it. I'm done. No, I'm done. A tweet about, sorry guys, no stream tonight, whatever. Blah blah blah. Make up an excuse. Off we go. Or sometimes not make an excuse. Just I'm trying to get better at just saying it how it is. And then that's it. The day's over. Wake up the next morning feeling absolutely fine. And I think that's almost the worst part. It's a weird feeling, but almost the worst part is waking up every morning feeling absolutely fine. Because I do. I wake up and I feel normal. I felt like I've felt for years and years before. But by the time, say, on a normal day I get to work, I know at some point in the next few hours I'm going to feel something. And it's going to ruin my day. And it does. I become increasingly sensitive to hunger. I feel really nauseous now if I'm hungry in a way that I never used to. So I try to make sure that I eat something before I leave the house, because if I don't, I'm fucked. It's over. It's game over. It is alarming, and part of the reason I know I'm hoping this, I've got avenues through work for getting further help, because the public options must be a mess right now. And I don't imagine it's going to get any better in the new year. But it's been this cycle of, okay, now I'm fine. Oh no, now I feel sick. Oh no, now I'm having a panic attack. Okay, talk myself out of it. And at least for counselling, I've got techniques. I've got things that I can do to get out of that situation now. I know I need to, if I need to just leave a room, I will just leave the room. If I need to go for a walk, I will go for a walk. If I need to talk to myself for 5 minutes, I will go and talk to myself for 5 minutes. I'm trying to take up, I've got a meditation routine that I'm trying to stick to, which, it's not, a big thing. It's just a few minutes, just focus on, just try and forget everything else, focus on breathing for a few minutes. Maybe, look out a window, look at the trees, look at the birds, go outside, just sit and stare, and just zone out for a few minutes, and then crack on for the next few hours. Just anything to try and break the cycle, really, because it's like I can't even say that this is like, you'd think with all the RP stuff, you'd think, you know, I like to think I've put in a decent amount of effort, probably too much effort, in creating all this GTA content. I'm on my YouTube channel now. I'm looking at all these videos. Like, fuck me. I might have got carried away at some point. But it's not even like it's been a distraction. It's not. I haven't done all this. You know, I don't know how I got into this Twitch stuff. I don't know at what point I decided I can try streaming. Because it wasn't off the back of any of this. You know, I don't jump into GTA and think, oh, this is going to be a distraction. This is going to distract me from anxiety for a bit. It's nothing to do with that. And you know, I feel very fortunate that this hasn't affected me on stream, which is weird, because you know, as I said, none of this was me. I wouldn't put myself out here talking to people like this before. So it's weird that this hasn't triggered it, in a sense. Only there have been very few occurrences, and probably the one that sticks in my mind was the first stream I did on Twitch RP. Right at the end of that stream, it was a great stream. I had a good time. And then right at the end, just as I was wrapping up, I realised my breathing was off. I was just chatting away. I think I was chatting away to Fongman. I think Brezio. I think Dirty Fisherman was in. I was just talking about what we'd done and talking about how excited I am. I'm on a new RP server. I was whitelisted weeks in advance than I should have been. I still don't know how that happened. I don't know how that happened. I'm not gonna question it. I'm sorry everyone else, but I got in first, all right? I didn't actually get in first. That's a lie. But I was really excited, and then suddenly I felt terrible. I was looking at chat, talking away, and then suddenly I felt like, oh my god, I need to stop, and I need to get off this stream. I need to go. I felt I could feel my chest getting tight. I could feel my breathing going off. I think I said something like, I don't. All right, let's find someone to raid. I'm suddenly not feeling very well. But I was just thinking, oh my god, what? Again, it's never affected me on stream until that point. I felt I need to go now. I need to. I was just get someone to raid. Off we go. I mean, I didn't sleep very well that night. It was so weird. It was really weird. I'm just trying to find a specific video here as well. So it's been a hell of a year. It's been tiring. My body feels like it's letting me down as a result of my mind letting me down. And my only hope is that, you know, I've now had some counselling experience. I know how it can help, but I need more. I need more, and I need more to prepare myself for the long term. It felt like I've definitely learned some things which helped me a lot. It helped me understand it more, why my body responds the way that it does. But I still cannot control, and I don't think, you know, for as long as this is going to be affected by daily life, I don't imagine, you know, there's no I was briefly I was on medication, and I probably need more medication. Um, Unfortunately, it was a bad time. I had a bad time over the summer. With medication. And the counselling helped a lot, and I need more. I need a lot more and more long term arrangement. So that's hopefully going to be my plan going into the new year. I'd say it's this hasn't. No, I haven't done this Twitch stuff to be a distraction for everything else. I've done this because I found it very enjoyable. I found an enjoyment I didn't think I would ever have. I've enjoyed the streaming part of it just as much as I've enjoyed spending hours editing videos afterwards. Fucking that 52-minute documentary. I got to it and I thought, this is too much. This is too much. What the fuck have I done? Like, that first one I did, I deliberately said, this cannot be longer than half an hour. This cannot be longer than half an hour. No one's gonna watch it. If no one's gonna watch it, I really tried to make that tight. And then the second one, also knowing it was the last piece of content I was gonna edit for the CWC server, I thought, fuck it, let's just get it all in. In fact, so that came in at close to an hour, and those videos are by far that first documentary has 254 views. And the second one, which, the CWC was gone. I couldn't post it on the CWC Discord. It's still sitting at 131 views, and it blows my mind that people watch those videos. But it made it all worth it. Hello, Millsy. Good to see you. Yes, the rec. I will, as I say, I will be discussing more about this Twitch adventure in a few weeks on the anniversary stream, which will take some kind of form, I guess. But the Wreckfest races on Riot server were incredibly enjoyable, and I miss them. I hope we can do that again someday. Through one means or another, we don't need to wait for anything. But I would like to see more racing at some point. Up the mods. You couldn't beat Team Blue. So yeah, just everyone who's supported this thing this year, or interacted with me in or out of video games servers and roleplay servers. If you've watched any of the videos that I've done, thank you very much. I say to people because, by the way, I don't want to dwell on Twitch stuff or the runnings of Twitch. As I say, I'm not doing this for any particular reason. I don't have any long-term aspirations on Twitch. I've been doing this. In 2 weeks' time, I will have been doing this a year. I haven't seen any money from it or anything like that. As of this moment, all of your support has gone purely to Jeff Bezos. I'm sorry to say, but I will keep plugging away until I claw some of it back from him, because that's what you deserve. That's the least you deserve, is to know that your money has gone to a better place. I'll buy some sweets with that support one day. But I say to people if they subscribe, that support isn't just for these streams, okay? I know what my limitations are as a streamer, as someone chatting to you and trying to play games competently. I take that support and I put that into the videos that I do afterwards. If I'm gonna edit hour-long videos about GTA, I'm channeling that support into all that as well. So thank you very much, everyone who's ever come in this year on the streams, everyone who I've met through all the GTA stuff and the Rust stuff, and through all the different circles of the expanded Limiverse is probably the best way to describe all of this, right? many roads lead to Limmy, one way or another. But it's been a comfort. You know, it hasn't been the distraction I hoped. I didn't expect it to be a distraction, but in terms of the anxiety stuff, I thought, you know, maybe if I dive into this too much, maybe it'll make a difference. But any thoughts to that, just blown away by the enjoyment I've had. It's been a comfort. It's been good to have people to talk to and have a good time with, and you know, again, editing the videos and stuff like that, and planning them, and you know, filming. You know, having not done any RP stuff, to get myself to a position where I think, right, okay, yeah, can we meet up, and I'm gonna make a documentary of your character. My fake character is gonna make a documentary about your fake character. I've got this camera, and I'm gonna try and set up angles, and I've got to think about distances to record the audio, and how am I gonna edit this later? I'm gonna have music and montages, and what bits do I need to edit? It was a really absorbing experience. It's like it was one thing to film it, to follow someone around and ask them questions and get involved in what they were doing. It was another thing to go, right, okay, now I need to actually edit this thing into a package which makes sense and flows well enough that people don't immediately drop it after 5 minutes. And now I'm just after an hour and fucking how long maybe an hour and 16 minutes of talking about my mental state. I'm now just plugging my stuff. But obviously none of that means anything if nobody watches them or engages with them, and I've been incredibly fortunate that people have watched them and engaged with them and given feedback on them and shared them, and all of that stuff makes a tremendous difference. Thank you, Ollie. Thank you, Hamstercast. Good to see you, by the way, Hamstercast. I'm sorry, I'm just in a blur. I'm just in a blur, mate. So yeah, that's that. That's it's been a shit year. Truth be told, I've fretted over, I've feared for my life at multiple points during it. I've cried when I didn't think I was capable of crying anymore, and somehow just stayed the course, and here we are, talking about it. Talking about it helps. Hearing other people talk about their experiences helps. Which, you know, listening to an audiobook, that's what got me thinking, okay, I've got one stream left this year. We may as well talk about it. So I have. And that is that. So let's fucking lighten up. Play some fucking video games.